Hello there, garden. Welcome back to another episode of Written in the Stars with your host, Black Rose. I'm so happy you're here because this week is one of those weeks that people are going to look back on months from now and realize it was the beginning of a completely different chapter. I myself am so super excited about this energy. When I say excited, it doesn't mean that everything's going to be kitten kisses and rainbows. It doesn't mean that everything's going to go swimmingly or perfectly, but it's just very exciting electric energy that's taking place that we haven't really seen before. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of growth and change for the collective, for humanity in general. And growth and change isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it looks like stress or anxiety or depression or hitting rock bottom. So I don't want to just put this out there that everything's going to be so perfect and amazing, but there is a lot of amazing energy that is going to transform people and situations for the better and the world as a whole. So sometimes astrology gives us one major event. Other weeks we get two. This week, we have three enormous cosmic shifts, in my opinion, that are unfolding almost back to back, and together they tell one very clear story. So basically, you're going to see that something is ending as well as being revealed, and then something entirely new is beginning. That's why I'm so excited. Just these energies working together. And the way it looks astrologically is just, I'm here for it. I'm here for the good, the bad, and the ugly because it's what's needed. So we're working with a full moon in Capricorn, Mercury stationing retrograde, and Jupiter entering Leo. If that wasn't enough, we're also moving through Cancer season, which naturally turns our attention toward home, family, emotional security. Mother wounds, I feel, will come up. I also feel this energy of nostalgia. And it reminds us of the people who truly want to be around us and that we truly want around us. There's an interesting contrast in the sky right now. Cancer wants us to soften, nurture, and reconnect with our hearts. Capricorn wants us to mature, take responsibility, and stop making excuses. So before I get really in depth with this energy, I want to remind everyone, especially if you're new to astrology, Capricorn and Cancer are opposite signs, or what I like to call mirror signs. So what that means is they're on the opposite signs of the zodiac, just like Aries and Libra. Aquarius and Leo. So think of those energies. So Capricorn is very mature, can be stoic, very logical, where Cancer is very heart-centered, emotional. That doesn't mean that Cancers can't be logical, and it doesn't mean that Capricorns can't be emotional. I'm a Capricorn myself, and I'm very emotional. But what it means is they're both pulling something from the other to bring together this stronger unit. They're learning from each other. And I feel like that's what this energy is doing. So Capricorn, like I say, doesn't want us to make excuses, and Cancer wants us to reconnect with our heart. So that's going to look like a lot of us opening up, connecting with our logic and our heart, connecting our own divine masculine and divine feminine energies within us. We all have masculine and feminine energies within us. So think of Capricorn and Cancer, they're very feminine signs. And then we have Aries is a very masculine sign. We have a Libra is a very masculine sign. So we've got earth and water, which is feminine, and we have fire and air, which is masculine. So a lot of that's heavy in the atmosphere, and just letting you know that's where that's going to be a good energy for us to integrate. Mercury retrograde wants us to slow down because that's happening too and rethink our plans. Jupiter in Leo wants us to dream bigger than we have in years. So For example, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit. If you are a Scorpio rising like myself, you know that our 10th house is in Leo for a lot of us, and it's being really lit up by Jupiter and it's being expanded. I have already seen that happening in my own life, and I just feel so blessed because I see it coming. I've already gotten a taste of it, so I got to get myself ready for what's to come because I think that I think a lot of things are coming. And for those of you that are a Leo sun, it's going to expand your ego and your just self in general and help you shine. It's a lot of energy. We'll go into that later. So you can probably already feel the tension. Part of you wants comfort, but also part of you knows you've outgrown where you've been. This week is about reconciling those two realities. Before we jump into the signs, let's talk about these transits because understanding the energy makes navigating the week so much easier. It's not like astrology can predict everything exactly how it's going to happen, but it does help. It's a guide. It's a guide for us. So the Capricorn full moon, this week begins with one of the most powerful full moons of the year. The full moon reaches its peak on Monday, June 29th. Full moons always illuminate something. They bring things into the light that have been quietly developing beneath the surface. They're moments of culmination, completion, and emotional clarity. But Capricorn doesn't deal in fantasy. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the planet of responsibility, discipline, long-term success, and reality. So think of building something stable, like the Tower card. If it's not steady or stable, it could come crumbling down. You want that Capricorn energy of stability and long-term success. This isn't the kind of full moon that's interested in temporary happiness. It asks one question: what are you building? Now that you know what you're building and you're sure of where you're going, this energy can be very pleasant for you. Okay. So it's not going to be what you're hoping for, what you're manifesting, or what you're wishing someone else would do. What are you actually creating through your daily choices? And I would say that's a very Capricorn question. Some people may realize they've been carrying responsibilities that no longer belong to them. Others may recognize they've been overworking themselves while neglecting the people they love. Some relationships could reach a turning point because someone finally says what they've been holding inside. I feel a lot of that coming, and I have done some no contact readings and some tarot readings for Instagram as well as YouTube and TikTok, so you can follow me there. And I have been seeing a lot of this come out. So it's no surprise to me because a lot of this energy is even coming out in the readings that I'm doing. So people really busting open their heart space and opening their mouth and admitting feelings or admitting things that they've held on to for years, coming out of silence or no contact. Career matters can also come to a head. So it could look like receiving recognition, leaving a job that has been stuck and stagnant, that no longer serves your highest purpose. You'll see a lot of people that they just suddenly lose a job, or they go in a completely different direction, or completely leave a relationship that you thought they would be in forever. You may suddenly understand why something didn't work out 6 months ago. The answer becomes obvious now. The beautiful thing about Capricorn energy is that it rewards maturity. If you've been showing up consistently, even if nobody noticed, it often pays off around this full moon. But if you've been avoiding difficult conversations or refusing to acknowledge problems, Capricorn won't let those issues stay hidden any longer. Think of this full moon as a cosmic performance review. Where have you grown? Where have you settled? Where have you pretended or been pretending that everything is fine? This isn't punishment. It really is for us. And I say us because we're all included. We're all connected. It's for us to gain some clarity. And sometimes clarity feels uncomfortable because we have to admit that things are no longer working for us and that we need to step up in our power. And it asks us to admit that we've changed or we need a change. So think about that too. Now let's talk about Mercury, because this week Mercury officially stations retrograde on June 29th. I'm telling you, okay? A lot of you listen to astrology and you know something is up. I also want to make an episode on the Barbo basket because that is really fascinating. But anyway, it's beginning a period that encourages reflection rather than rushing ahead. Every Mercury retrograde gets blamed for everything. So, yeah, I mean, it happens, and I do notice a difference. So, ooh, I just found my glasses. Oh, thanks, retrograde. Brought my glasses back. I've been looking for these. Look at me. I've been looking for these glasses for the past week, and I just look over and they've been there this whole time. Okay. Anyway, so this is going to look like lost emails, broken phones, delayed flights, texts going to the wrong person. Yes, those things happen. They can certainly happen. But Mercury retrograde is actually much deeper than that. Mercury rules communication, thinking, contracts, technology, transportation, and how we process information. It rules Gemini and Virgo. When Mercury appears to move backward from our perspective on Earth, so it appears that it's moving backwards. It's not actually moving backwards, but it is from our perspective on Earth. Life asks us to slow down. It's less about chaos and more about revision. This is the universe saying, did you really mean that? Is this actually the direction you want to go? Have you learned from the last time? This week, many people from the past may reappear. So yes, old friends, past relationships, former co-workers, someone you haven't spoken to in years could suddenly cross your path. Sometimes it's meant to provide closure. Sometimes it's meant to remind you how much you've grown or you've outgrown the situation or this person. And yes, sometimes it really is a second chance. I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say, yeah, it's just going to be closure and you aren't going to get back together. Some of you, it will be a second chance. Some of you, that is in the cards for you, but not every return is meant to last. And that's why it's so important. I know getting tarot readings and listening to astrology helps a lot. It does. I love what I do. I love bringing you all information that resonates. I love talking about astrology. I love watching astrology myself. I have my favorite astrologers, but we need to understand that we also are in control and we're creating our own reality. We are in charge of that. I'm not in charge of it for you. You're in charge of it for you. So remember that, okay? That's why not every return is meant to last. But it isn't asking you to go backwards. Just keep in mind, Mercury retrograde isn't always asking you to go backwards. It's asking you to look backward before moving forward. If someone reappears, it's important to ask yourself whether you're responding to who they are today or who they used to be. That's really significant, especially because I do a lot of love readings and check-ins. I love love. It's no secret. I love love. I love seeing people in love. I love people getting back together. I love stories of people were separated for 20 years and they come back together and they get married and that's the person they always wanted to settle down with. I love that. So I'm the first one. If I was a mythical creature, I would be Cupid. Okay, because I just love people falling in love and I just love love in general. But sometimes there's unhealthy dynamics and they need to be let go of. Let's just be real. And you'll know if you listen to your intuition. Now, you also want to double check travel plans, read contracts carefully, back up important files. Give yourself extra time too. I'm hearing about just making sure that you don't, like if you're running late for work or you feel like extra tired or extra emotional, I want you to make sure that you're giving yourself maybe 15 minutes extra and just not rushing. That's coming through for a lot of you. So patience is important. Most importantly, don't panic if something changes. Often, what feels like a delay under Mercury retrograde becomes a blessing later. And no, I did not burp in your ear. I did have a hiccup. So if you heard that, I apologize. I had a chai latte. So your girl's got some hiccups over here. Okay. And then almost immediately after all of this reflective energy, the sky shifts dramatically. Jupiter enters Leo. This is a massive change in collective energy. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, the good, the bad, the ugly. I must say that again. We all know Leo represents confidence, creativity, leadership. It can represent romance, fifth house energy, right? Generosity, self-expression, children. It can represent performance, joy, the courage to be seen, to come out of the shadows, to be your authentic self. If you see, we as a collective are looking for more authentic creators. We're tired of the influencers. We're tired of the fake people, or the people that are just showing off their name brand items and this and that and the other. We're tired of that as a people. We want more grounded, down to earth, naturally talented, naturally gifted people. So after a period of growth focused on emotional foundations, Jupiter now asks us a different question. What would you do if you truly believed in yourself? I think of the Strength card because Strength card does represent Leo, and it has the lion. And the lion in the Wizard of Oz had to find his courage. And I feel like we're finding, it's very much like the lion in the Wizard of Oz. We're trying to find our courage, and that Leo lion is giving us that boost. That's powerful because so many dreams don't fail due to lack of talent. They actually fail because people decide they're not worthy before they even begin. And I'm going to tell a lot of you that are listening, and I hope and I pray this finds the right people that need to hear it, and it finds a broader audience, because this is a channeled message that's coming from spirit. A lot of you have dealt with people in your life that are super jealous and negative of you. And I know you're a humble person, and I know you don't want to admit that your mom or your dad or your partner or your romantic interest or your best friend, your cousin, your ride or die, who you would ride or die for, but you might have to take a good long look at them. A lot of people might not want you to succeed and have planted this seed of doubt when you were young. Planted this, people jealous of you, jealous of your light, jealous of your energy, jealous of your beauty, of your handsomeness, jealous of the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, the way you seem to do things with little to no effort, the way you don't have to flash your body if you're a female. People come watch you, or they're interested in you, and you don't have to show off skin. People are jealous of that because all they have to offer is to show bits and pieces of themselves, and they probably still don't get the recognition that you do or the attention that you do. You manifest that energy so easily, and you command a room, and you have power. So remember who you are. If you believe you're worthy, you are. If you don't believe you're worthy, or you believe you're unworthy, you are. I am. I am worthy. I am not worthy. It's up to you. For me personally, I am worthy, and so are you. So it is also a mindset issue sometimes. Jupiter in Leo encourages boldness. It favors artists, entrepreneurs, teachers, performers, content creators, people willing to step into leadership and share their gifts and to stop hiding. But every Jupiter transit has a shadow. Leo can become prideful. It can seek validation instead of authenticity. It can mistake attention for fulfillment. So this year asks us to shine without making everything about ourselves, being in service to others, lead without controlling, be confident without arrogance, celebrate yourself without forgetting others. That looks like, I am so grateful for all of my followers. I would not have the platform that is growing right now without all of you. I am so grateful. And I'm so grateful to respond to those of you who you're finding a meaning from my readings. You're getting the energy that you need. Things are coming true. I just had someone tell me that the reading I did on Instagram came true. You're so important to me, all of you. And I know it might be hard to, because I don't know each of you individually, and it might be hard to believe that, but you are. Each one of you, we're exchanging energy, we're connected, and each one of you is very important to me. And I love and care about each and every one of you, and I want you to be happy. So that's what it should look like. I love that I have all these followers, and it feels amazing that because I put my heart and soul into the work that I do, it feels awesome. However, I also want to thank each and every person and be grateful because it's because of you. So the healthiest expression of Jupiter in Leo is generous confidence, not ego, heart. Now, here's what's fascinating. At first glance, these transits seem completely different. Capricorn says, get serious. Mercury says, slow down. Leo says, dream bigger. But all together, they create one incredibly important message. Before your life expands, you have to release what no longer fits. Before the next chapter begins, you need clarity about the previous one. Before you become more visible, you have to become more authentic. That's what this week is about. Some people will experience breakthroughs. Others will experience endings. Some will receive exciting opportunities. Others may finally walk away from situations they've outgrown. Both are victories, and that's what I was talking about in the beginning. Both are victories because movement is better than stagnation. This is not a week to force outcomes. It's a week to observe, to listen, to trust what keeps repeating, because the universe tends to whisper before it shouts. And this week, those whispers become impossible to ignore. So I just want to end with some zodiac readings. So I always say the rising sign seems to be the most accurate, but as always, you can follow your sun, moon, or rising. So let's start with Aries. Aries, this week puts your career, reputation, and long-term direction under the spotlight. The Capricorn full moon may bring a major professional realization, a turning point with a boss or authority figure, or a moment where you finally see whether the path you're on is actually sustainable. So you may have started a new path, Aries, and it's not working. I hate to say it. Mercury retrograde asks you to revisit old family dynamics or home-related decisions, so don't be surprised if the past comes knocking in your private life. Meanwhile, Jupiter in Leo lights up your creativity, romance, and confidence in a big way. This is a powerful time to remember what makes you feel alive. If you've been playing small, that changes now. Just make sure you're building something real, not just chasing applause. Taurus, the Capricorn full moon opens your mind and asks you to get honest about what your beliefs, your future plans, and the direction you're heading in. You may be finishing a course, making a travel decision, or realizing that a certain mindset has outlived its usefulness. Mercury retrograde brings old conversations, siblings, neighbors, or writing projects back into focus, so be patient with communication. Jupiter entering Leo is a huge shift for your home and family life. Over the coming year, you may expand your living situation, move, renovate, or create a more joyful domestic environment. This week reminds you that stability isn't about staying the same forever. It's about creating a life that can actually hold your growth. Gemini, this is a deeply transformative week for you. The Capricorn full moon highlights shared finances, intimacy, trust, and emotional vulnerability. Something may come to a head around money, debt, support, or a relationship dynamic that needs to be addressed honestly. Mercury retrograde is especially important for you because it asks you to rethink your relationship with money, self-worth, and what you value most. Old financial patterns may resurface, so you can finally change them. Jupiter entering Leo brings a beautiful boost to your communication, learning, and visibility. Your voice matters more than ever now. Speak boldly, share your ideas, and don't underestimate the power of your words. Cancer, this is your season, but this week asks you to grow up in the best possible way. The Capricorn full moon lands in your relationship sector, bringing clarity to partnerships, commitments, and one-on-one dynamics. A relationship may deepen, shift, or reveal its true shape. Mercury retrograde is in your sign, so that means you're revisiting your identity, your choices, and the way you present yourself to the world. Be gentle with yourself if you feel uncertain. You're not going backward, you're refining who you are. Jupiter entering Leo is a major blessing for your finances and self-worth. Over the next year, you have the chance to build more abundance and confidence. The more you value yourself, the more life responds. Leo, this week begins with a reality check and ends with a cosmic spotlight. The Capricorn full moon highlights your daily routines, work habits, health, and responsibilities. You may realize something in your schedule is no longer sustainable, or you may finally see the connection between your emotional state and your physical well-being. Mercury retrograde asks you to slow down, rest, and pay attention to your inner world. Old fears or unfinished emotional business may surface, but this is part of the healing. And then Jupiter enters your sign and everything changes. This is the beginning of a major year of expansion, confidence, and visibility. You're being asked to step into a bigger version of yourself. Just remember, true radiance comes from authenticity, not performance. Virgo, the Capricorn full moon activates your creativity, romance, joy, and self-expression. Something in your love life or creative life may reach a turning point, and you may finally understand what brings you genuine happiness versus what simply keeps you busy. Mercury retrograde brings old friends, old dreams, or unfinished group dynamics back into focus. Pay attention to who and what keeps returning. Jupiter entering Leo lights up your inner world, healing, and spiritual life. This is a year for rest, reflection, and quiet growth behind the scenes. You don't have to prove everything publicly right now. Some of your biggest blessings will come when you stop trying to control the outcome and allow yourself to heal. Libra, the Capricorn full moon shines a light on your home, family, and emotional foundation. You may be making a decision about where you live, how you support loved ones, or what kind of environment you need to feel secure. Mercury retrograde brings career matters back into review, so expect delays, revisions, or old professional contacts resurfacing. This is a good time to rethink your public direction rather than rush it. Jupiter entering Leo is a beautiful boost for your friendships, community, and long-term dreams. Over the next year, your social world can expand in exciting ways. New allies, new opportunities, and new visions are all possible. Just make sure the people around you support your growth instead of distracting you from it. Scorpio, this week brings important news, conversations, and realizations. The Capricorn full moon activates your communication sector, so a message, decision, or conversation may reach a turning point. You could be finishing a project, speaking your truth, or finally understanding something that has been unclear for a while. Mercury retrograde asks you to revisit travel plans, education, publishing, legal matters, or your broader beliefs about life. Don't rush to conclusions. Jupiter entering Leo is a major career blessing for you. Over the next year, your visibility, leadership, and professional opportunities can grow significantly. This is your chance to step into a more powerful public role. Own your expertise, but stay humble enough to keep learning. Sagittarius, the Capricorn full moon highlights money, self-worth, and material security. You may be making an important financial decision or realizing that your relationship with money needs a serious reset. Mercury retrograde brings shared finances, intimacy, and trust issues back into focus, so be careful with agreements and emotional assumptions. Jupiter entering Leo is a huge energetic shift for you because it expands your world in the best way. Travel, education, publishing, spirituality, and big picture growth all become more available over the coming year. This is a time to think bigger than your current circumstances. Just remember that expansion works best when it's grounded in wisdom, not just enthusiasm. Capricorn, this is your full moon, and it is a big one. Something about your identity, your direction, or your personal life is reaching a major culmination. You may be closing one chapter and stepping into another with much more clarity about who you are and what you want. Mercury retrograde brings relationship matters back into review. So, old partners, old dynamics, or unfinished conversations may resurface. This is your chance to see what is truly mutual and what is not. Jupiter entering Leo activates intimacy, shared resources, and deep transformation. Over the next year, you may experience powerful growth through trust, vulnerability, and emotional honesty. You don't have to carry everything alone anymore. Aquarius, the Capricorn full moon lands in your private, hidden, and spiritual sector, which means this week may feel quieter on the outside, but deeply active on the inside. You could be releasing an old fear, ending a cycle, or finally acknowledging something you've been avoiding. Mercury retrograde brings work, health, and daily routine matters back into focus, so be flexible with your schedule and take care of your body. Jupiter entering Leo is a major relationship transit for you. Over the next year, partnerships may expand, deepen, or become more visible. This is a powerful time for love, collaboration, and meaningful one-on-one connections. Just make sure you're choosing relationships that allow both freedom and commitment. Pisces, last but not least, the Capricorn full moon highlights friendships, community, and long-term goals. You may be seeing clearly which connections support your future and which ones no longer align with where you're headed. Mercury retrograde brings romance, creativity, and joy back into review, so an old love interest, creative project, or passion may resurface. Pay attention to what genuinely inspires you. Jupiter entering Leo lights up your work, health, and daily life. Over the next year, you have the chance to build a more fulfilling routine and find more joy in everyday responsibilities. This is a beautiful time to improve your habits and expand your skills and bring more heart into your work. Small changes now can create major results later. This week is intense, but it's also incredibly meaningful. The Capricorn full moon asks us to face reality. Mercury retrograde asks us to reflect before reacting. Jupiter in Leo asks us to believe in ourselves enough to grow. So if life feels like it's shifting under your feet, you're not imagining it. You are standing at the edge of something new. And even if the path isn't fully clear yet, the direction is. Trust what is ending. Trust what is returning. Trust what is beginning. Because this week is not random. It's a turning point garden. Get ready because this is going to be amazing. I love each and every one of you. Stay blessed, take care, and thank you so much for your love and support.